Jeff Pitts joins us now with Shane Schaefer. Shane Schaefer is the chairman and CEO of Cingulate, ticker symbol CING. And of course, Jeff Pitts is biz dev and licensing, the tip of the spear, how you guys go to commercialization.
What about?
I want you guys to, because last time around the air, I don't think people understand the NDA, new drug application, and where it comes in line. And where, and in other words, you don't do a new drug application from the very beginning. You have to have a couple boxes checked. You want to explain that for us real quick?
So I'll do it as quickly as possible and focus on the most important part. So when you have an idea, you start with what's called an investigational new drug application. You tell the FDA, here's what we're thinking. And you give them a little bit of data. Then you meet with them throughout a period of time where it takes you to do all of your different phases of trials. Phase 1s, phase 2s, and phase 3s are your primary efficacy studies. At the end of that, you do what's called an end of phase 3 meeting. You talk to them, or it's really called the end of phase 3 meeting is more of what's called a pre-NDA. NDA means new drug application. So you meet with the FDA. We had a great meeting with them 3 weeks ago, and basically you walk through and say, look, here's questions we have, here's questions you might have. You kind of go back and forth in some communications first, and then you have answers to most of them, which we did, and we landed on 3 questions that remained. So we then had a live meeting, spoke to them about them. Great conversation, and now we're in a position where we get in our final stability, so manufacturing data, and we then prepare what's called that new drug application. It's voluminous. To put it simply, if it wasn't electronic anymore, it would fill a quarter of the studio.
Okay.
Page by page, top to bottom of the roof.
Wow.
So there's a lot to
one
review.
therapy, one
That's
drug.
for one product. So what the FDA does then is they have different experts reviewing different modules, and it takes them about 10 months to review that set of data, and you get an approval or a disapproval. Now we're in a good position. You know, we're building another stimulant. Every stimulant has been approved over the last 50 plus years, and what our data has shown, and we believe we have, is really one of the most effective and safest ADHD products to really optimize patients' lives. You know?
You guys are the 3R line.
Yeah.
I mean, really are.
Yep.
Which comes to biz dev.
Yeah.
So now the risk aversion model is to hand it off to a big pharma, which I know there's partnerships. But talk about your job now.
Well, what I focus on, so ADHD is not just a U.S. issue, it's a worldwide issue. And yet what Shane was talking about there, that's just regulatory approval within the U.S. That doesn't mean you're regulatorily approved in Europe, Asia, Latin America. And so basically my role with the company is to go find partners that are equipped to help us navigate those waters in those different geographies. Because, you know, again, the disorder.
That's the license.
And that's primarily what I focus on right now. Again, the disorder is universal, but every market is different. Every market presents unique regulatory challenges and commercial challenges. Our company, our resources are better suited to focus on the U.S., find partners who are experts in their space that can take this medication to those populations.
Jeff, are the other countries tougher to deal with than the United States as far as that is concerned?
It depends.
Depends, yeah.
Is it overdiagnosed, underdiagnosed?
Yep.
Yes
so
and no.
It depends
Yes and no.
because in certain territories you have what's called reciprocity. So like take the UK for instance, we get this product approved in the US, there's a very, very, very high likelihood the product will be approved through the international recognition protocol within less than 6 months. So the product's ready to go there. Now you look at the EU, sometimes they want you to do a small pharmacokinetic study in their local patient set. Those are fast, quick, and easy, and then you have a several months of review period of time. So every territory is different, and to what Jeff said, that's exactly right. We're US experts.
Sure.
What we want to do is build the best product available. We've talked to dozens of different territories. Jeff's doing a great job of really expanding that reach, and we're getting close, we hope, to having some of these territories finally say, you know what, we'll pull the trigger. And that's good news for us.
And the existing strategic partnerships, though, are not hurting at all. I mean, that's an on-ramp to the next set, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. This does not take away from any of the existing partnerships.
Talk about the existing partnerships, guys.
I'm going to take it because I think it's a unique one. So I've commercialized dozens of different drugs in the United States with Pfizer, Novartis, and Sanofi. And there's 3 ways to commercialize in the U.S. Either one, you do it yourself, which is going to cost about $150 million to build your own commercial infrastructure. You will do it wrong, flat out. You won't do it right. Now you're diluting the hell out of things. You're spending a ton of money. You're working on millions of different tasks. That's not feasible for a company of our size. The second philosophy is, to Jeff's area there, is to license it out in the United States. Well, let's say, I'm just going to give some potential numbers. We build this drug, get it approved. It costs us $125 million to do it. We get an upfront licensing deal for $10 million, and then we hope they do a good job, and we take 10 to 15% on the back end. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it seems like
Right.
That sounds like a pretty bad deal.
Yeah.
The third way to do it is you co-promote. So you find another company that's in the US and then you say, okay, we'll take this, you take that. Well, ADHD, as we've learned over the last 6 months, is there's psychiatrists, there's neurologists, there's pediatrics, developmental peds, which is its own specialty, nurse practitioners, PAs, OB-GYNs. You have a lot of different specialties. What we would look for in a co-promote partner would be a company that focuses really on pediatrics and then maybe some primary care. We would take the rest. That company really doesn't exist. That's not a major successful company. So what we're doing is we're still looking at that opportunity, but more importantly is we are commercializing this product with Cingulate in the driver's seat, with Indogene, who is the gold standard in commercialization of products.
And Indogene can take you guys to the 1-yard line and beyond, correct?
They can take us to the end zone. We're kicking off, and we're going to keep playing more rounds. So they are a launch engine. So they handle medical affairs. They'll handle sales training, third-party logistics, pharmacovigilance, all the things you need in an infrastructure.
Is there a difference between that and having like a Pfizer take over, or is it similar? Is it very similar?
So if a Pfizer took it over, Pfizer would take the whole thing.
Oh, I see.
And then you're back to option 1 or option 2.
Okay.
What this allows for is our shareholders to say, hey, look, we're going to keep 95% of the sales.
Right.
Huge opportunity
Yeah.
there. We've built what we believe is the best product. Why not exploit it in terms of let's make sure our shareholders get that benefit and not just a mere pittance of what's available.
And the risk of a Pfizer or somebody like that is, do they lose focus on you? Do they start, I mean, they have so many assets they're selling across so many therapeutic categories.
Yeah.
How do you ensure you maintain consistent attention with somebody of that size? And that's a real risk, or do they just pivot and there's something else? There's another bright, shiny object that is their focus.
What's interesting is Pfizer uses Indogene, Novartis, Glaxo,
Right.
Sanofi, they use Indogene. We're using Indogene for everything we don't have. We're going to still build a very tight sales force that's Cingulate owned, Cingulate managed, Cingulate run, that will be out there in the right territories where we have the maximum ROI potential.
As you guys are inching closer to the end, which is
We're in the red
which is
zone.
exciting. I mean, you really are. What does your life look like as a company? Because a lot of it's out of your hands for now, right? I mean,
So-
what's next?
The good news is we have capital in place right now to get us into that launch year.
Okay.
So we submit our NDA in the July-August timeframe this year. We are approved same time next year. We have the capital to get us into that year. We have various tools set up to bring in more capital if we need. What we need to really do is just make sure people understand. Our low-hanging fruit is 60% of a $20
I mean, is it time to market now?
market.
It's almost time to get pre-marketing now.
It's time to market. Well, we are. Yeah. So we have shifted. I've got my team that works on the development and regulatory side, but I'm shifting now to my commercial team. Sure. So Indogene is going to be that backbone. They're going to handle the vast majority of FTEs. We'll have a handful of folks, the head of sales, a head of sort of your national trade. So these are the groups, the managed care, the pharmacy access, those types of folks. We'll build that up, but just with leadership. And the execution is to be handled by other folks.
So when, before I let you guys out of here today, we have a Bizumentary that's going to be featuring you and some experts. I want you to talk about some of the experts we're talking to, because this is an all-star sort of cast of people that are going to validate everything we've been talking about. I mean, you think the FDA is tough. The people that we're having talked to this is the
These
top.
folks aren't impressed easily.
Yeah, right.
They've been in the ADHD space their entire careers. So you got guys like Tom Brown, who's one of the fathers of really looking at adult ADHD. Jeff Newcorn, who is just one of the preeminent psychiatrists. Ann Childress, who's our principal investigator. Then you bring in my own team, who when I was founding this company, Matt Brahms is an expert in himself. Raul Silva, one of the top experts. He was the guy that kind of built dexmethylphenidate from the ground up. So that's just 5
This
of the
is
folks.
basically the board of directors of everyone that's looked at ADHD for the last 10, 15 years.
These are people that have been a part of every single molecule, drug, thought, idea, stimulant, non-stimulant that's ever been developed in ADHD in the last
When are you back in San Diego? You can't get enough of
As soon
you.
as possible. Yeah.
Love it. Shane Schaefer, Chairman, CEO, Cingulate, ticker symbol CING, of course, his main man, business developer, licensing, Jeff Pitts, with us as well today.
Guys,
Gentlemen, thank you.
Always good.
Watch what happens in the next 6 weeks with the Bizumentary and these guys. More Big Biz coming up. Stand by.